Wait, this is actually a great segue. Shout out to Josiah of Pondering Politics. Laura Loomer and Ana are fighting on Twitter. Loomer's worried that Ana will take over as captain of the MAGA cheer squad. Let's take a look at this, Zach. Clip from a interview with Ana Kasparian went viral on Twitter. This clip was from, 2 or 3 weeks ago. We didn't react to it at the time, but like I said, it kind of went viral on Twitter and got a lot of people roasting Ana Kasparian, including Laura Loomer. So here she says, here we have yet another political opportunist in the form of Ana Kasparian. And before we read on, Zach, do you want to take a look at the video in question?
Yeah, absolutely. And by God, we were looking around this morning and we were like, we really need a fruit basket. We really need a fruit basket to land on our doorstep. And Ana, she's a big fan of the show. She's a hate watcher, but she loves us, and we respect that. So she just called up, the local fruit basket company, put a big old bow on it, said happy Thanksgiving, and sent it right to the Casa del Vanguard. Shouts out to Laura Loomer for adding the gravy.
Yup. Let's take a look, guys. Some profound words of wisdom from Ana Kasparian.
And so I'm like, trying to get his bicycle up the stairs. And all of a sudden, this man stops me. His name's Jeff. And he's like, hey, let me help you out with that. And he starts helping me out. He stopped everything he was doing to help me out. And then Jeff and I became very close. One of my neighbors who I really like, he was my favorite person in the entire building. And years go by. One day we're in an HOA meeting, homeowners association, and we're
also dumb. We don't know what that means.
One of the people living in the building said something about Trump that was negative. I don't remember what it is. And Jeff whispers in my ear, oh, she's going to start trashing Trump. I'm out of here. And it hit me that he's a Trump supporter. We had never talked about politics before. And I'm like, so I got to know Jeff before I knew what his politics were. Incredibly kind guy. He helps everyone in this building with anything they might need. And so that woke me up to, wait a minute, not all Trump supporters are dangerous, evil individuals. And yes,
Anna's she's being so dishonest too. Cause we watched TYT from that era. You didn't think that about all Trump supporters. I watched Ana Kasparian and Cenk from before Trump got elected all the way through his administration. And yeah, did they get a little bit hysterical? Did they go down the Russiagate rabbit hole? Yeah, but they never said all Trump supporters are Nazis. They never said all people who voted for Donald Trump are evil racists. They always maintained that a lot of good, normal folks vote for Donald Trump, and Republicans at large. Obviously, to act like this is some new revelation that she stumbled upon is ridiculous.
It's cosplay. It's performative. And here's the other thing, guys. You want me to believe that you lived in this country for 8.5, 9 years and you never made a friend and you never had anybody that you interacted with that was a Trump supporter? I don't believe you. I don't believe that you met this guy named Jeff and he helped you lift your bike up the stairs. Okay, you did. So what? You wanted to have this story because you're a content creator, and I'm a content creator too, Ana, so I can smell a phony story. Oh yeah, this is going to be perfect to illustrate my point on the podcast. Let me make sure I facilitate a real good friendship with this is going to work. I'll connect those out. Thank God he said that. That's content. Okay, I can see it in your eyes, Ana. Just be real. You would actually have an audience of people who want to listen to you for your real, authentic thoughts if you would just be a person. If you weren't constantly calculating how to make yourself appealing to a certain audience, if you weren't constantly trying to, thread a needle. No, just be yourself and go out there. But instead you're doing this weird, cringy, I'm making excuses. I'm rewriting my own history, which was very publicly documented, right? I'll give you guys an example that rivals Ana Kasparian. I'll talk about my own father. You guys know him in the chat. Okay. My dad, one of the to his core, just a nice person. Okay. If you see an old lady struggling to take her trash down the street, straight up, I swear to God, hand to Christ, I'm not this kind of person. My father is. He will help that lady.
I am not a nice person.
I didn't inherit that shit from my dad. I'm not pulling over my car and striking up a conversation and be like, hey ma'am, excuse me.
That's because you're a liberal, bro. That's because you're a leftist.
Exactly. It's because I'm a hateful leftist. But no, but my old man, he's not voting for Kamala Harris. He never was going to. It doesn't matter how much I screamed. But at the end of the day, it's that doesn't mean that he's a bad person. That doesn't mean that he's not friendly. That doesn't mean that I don't love the guy. My whole family's like that, right? I got a full family full of Trump supporters, right? That's why I always laugh when people are like, oh, do you call out your family? No, they're not. They don't work in media. Why? And there's this constant effort by TYT to kind of change the goalposts, right? To do a little head fake where people are critical of them and they act like people are being critical of Trump voters. Like, no, I have a lot of leeway for people in this country who vote against their own interest, in my view, or vote on a specific interest that's not in everybody's best interest, right? Because that is their right, and they're choosing to operate and participate in the system in the narrow capacity that they're able to. And I would rather argue with them and debate them in the context where they would like to and meet them where they are and have good discussions, of course. But I do not extend that courtesy to people who make a living doing propaganda. Okay, and whether you like it or not, that's what all of us do. We all live in the same glass house, Anna. So if you want to come out here and pontificate, if you want to come out here and give your political takes, guess what? You're going to be on the chopping block. That's why I can't come out here and be mad that people will make content about the Vanguard. That's your American right. Go do it. I'll never, ever, ever complain about it, right? But you don't get to be a person in media. You don't get to be a person doing advocacy and then act like you're somehow a victim because people call you out, because people criticize you. No, you get to be a regular American, or you get to be a person in front of a camera. Pick. Do you want to be a private person or a public person?
Yup. Let's take a listen to just the last 20 seconds here before we take a look at what Laura Loomer had to say.
It was stupid that I thought that to begin with. Like, I'm embarrassed admitting that, but it's just how I believed. And that kind of was one of the moments where it's like a light bulb went off and something was telling me you need to scratch beneath the surface a little more, because you don't have a realistic view of what's going on here.
The light bulb went off at the HOA meeting when your neighbor Jeff defended Donald Trump. All right, guys, there's Anna's origin story. It was you can trace it all back to the HOA meeting.
Homeowners Association for the Poor that regularly tune into the Young Turks.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, totally ridiculous. And to act like Jeff is the first nice Trump supporter Anna ever met, the first nice Republican she'd ever met or ever known in her whole life, that's ridiculous. Obviously, we've all met some real nice folks, some downright charming folks.
Dude, my homie,
that have some fascist politics. In fact, sometimes the most fascist motherfuckers are the most polite. And that's not to say that Jeff is a fascist. That's not to say that your dad is a fascist for supporting
Dad,
Donald
you're
Trump.
A fascist. I know you're listening. You hear what Gavin says?
What up? What up, Larry? Or my, grandparents who support Donald Trump. Of course, no, they're really good people. They're decent folks, right? But guess what? That's how oftentimes right-wing politics works. It does prey on really good people. And yeah, that's not like something new. It's so ridiculous for Ana Kasparian to act like, oh, she just realized that nice, decent people can become vulnerable to believing in bullshit fascism and right-wing politics. But anyway, let's take a look at what Laura Loomer had to say here. She says, here we have another political opportunist in the form of Ana Kasparian. Sounds like Laura Loomer might have been watching some of the Vanguard, Zach.
Oh, shit.
She says, Anna is a malicious and pathological liar who has spent years with her co-host Cenk Uygur lying about and trying to cancel every outspoken Trump supporter, myself included. She has spread delusional lies about Trump, but now in a low-cut top and a full face of makeup.
Dude, it gets so anti-women whenever you hear the conservatives way, and I'm like, wow, we immediately attack this woman's appearance. Yep. Let's go.
She wants to tell some make-believe story about a guy named Jeff.
I told you.
Who all of a sudden made her realize that 80 million people are all unique individuals who have their own personalities, and not all of them are Nazis. Come on, no one is buying this garbage. Amen. Shout out to you, Laura Loomer. Saying what no one else will. This is honestly 100% on point and 100% accurate. Obviously, I do not, endorse
broken clock
sexism
situation, but for real.
Yeah, definitely a broken clock. She's 100% right. Anna is trying to remain relevant in the changing media landscape after she made some serious cash bashing and defaming people like herself, who actually busted her ass to help get Trump elected. She's a full-blown liar. So yeah, obviously, Laura Loomer.
Anyone falling for this is stupid. I agree.
Yeah, and that is true. Anyone falling for this is stupid. You don't get to engage in cancel culture for 9 years and then get a free pass for being a raging lunatic. And honestly, yeah, I mean, I don't agree with the pro-Trump perspective in this post, obviously. But yeah, I think this is actually a pretty fair analysis of the situation. She wants to she wants to tell some make-believe story about a guy named Jeff who all of a sudden made her realize that 80 million people are all unique individuals who have their own personalities and not all of them are Nazis. Yeah, of course that's bullshit. Of course that's bullshit. And Zach and I will tell you that as people who still are on the far left, on the extreme left. We don't even think that. We never have.